I mean, it's very obvious when he asks how is it going to go down, it is going to go down. They're gonna fucking tank the economy. It's controlled demolition. They're waiting for the right moment to crash the bubble back and fuck everybody over. So that's why she has that facial expression. It's like, because she's in a corner. It's like, how do you make it go? How do you make the bubble go down? And the answer is you don't. You pop it, but you pop it strategically when we're ready.
Phil, before I get your thoughts, let me play this video. Speaking of hubris,
there is this graph about the balance sheet of the European Central Bank and the money that is on there now. And here it is. What I would like to show our viewers and ask the question about is, this is going over 8 trillion euros now. And isn't what you just told us about the cryptocurrencies, don't we see a gigantic bubble here on your balance sheet with the euro? And isn't this graph very nerve-wracking?
Well, I can tell you that there is 0 crypto assets in the balance sheet of the ECB.
That I know.
Point number one. Well, I just don't want any ambiguity about it.
Yeah.
But you have to think in terms of counterfactual. If we had not decided on March 18th, when we put together the pandemic emergency program, and then subsequently increased the volume of commitment that we made to the European Union economies, we would be in a devastated situation. So I don't regret any of that move that we took on that day, which was 4 months into my job, to significantly increase the size of the balance sheet, because that's all we had.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the economy would have collapsed, and it would have been even accelerated by a financial crisis.
You had to do it. It was
So-
the COVID crisis. You say that's what we
Yes.
needed to do. But how do you get it
It will
back?
come. It will come. In due course.
How?
In due
Oh.
course, it will come.
Yeah? But do you sleep at night when you see this?
Of course I have to sleep at night. I have to worry.
Over here.
I was wondering, do you own any cryptos yourself?
No, I don't, because I want to practice what I preach.
And then
I know how it
obviously
works, and I actually have a son who invested in cryptos, yes. So I followed very carefully
And what have you taken away from that?
that I would not put my finger in there.
And he didn't listen to your
As the
advice.
convicted felon.
No,
No.
he's a free man.
He is, yeah. Did he lose a lot?
He wouldn't tell me.
oh God, that was a great video.
Wow!
The facial expressions, and shout out, by the way, shout out to the host. Shout out to who was asking questions. You're a brave man. You'll probably be dead in a couple weeks and, you know, suicided yourself, but how are you going to bring it down? It's going to go down. Francis, what are your thoughts on this? And then we'll pass it on to Phil. Phil, you wrap it up.
So body language, I mean, is very obvious when he asks how is it going to go down, it is going to go down. They're gonna fucking tank the economy. It's controlled demolition. They're waiting for the right moment to crash the bubble back, fuck everybody over. So that's why she has that facial expression. It's like, because she's in a corner. It's like, how do you make it go? How do you make the bubble go down? And the answer is you don't. You pop it, but you pop it strategically when we're ready. For us, the building is crumbling, and they're just kind of like chopping at little bits so that when they blow it up, it falls in the right direction. Like, that's exactly what's going to happen. You can also notice in the beginning, she has a very subtle passing on the responsibility moment where she's like, 4 months into my job. There's also something where she starts by answering the question, which is the speech that they've prepared when the plebs are outside their castle with the pitchforks and the scaffolds, trying to hang them. Say, well, if we hadn't done that, you would have been in an even worse position. So we did it for your own good. That's the only defense that they have against the masses of people. That's exactly what they did as a narrative with the lockdown. You'll notice there's a lot of similarity between those two crowds as well in terms of narrative. Like, if we hadn't locked you down and forced you to take the fucking jab, then we would have 3 million more deaths, or all these bad things would have happened. So we did it for your own good, out of love. And the last bit at the end is so fucking cringe. Like, I wonder if it's the same kind of Schiff might be strategically hedging his bet with his son. And just like the fact that if your son is not listening to your advice, why should I? Don't you realize like how disconnected can like a mother leader be to say like, my children don't listen to me, but you should? Like, no, like, you don't be my mom, man. And the last thing at the end there that about her son, I can't remember. I noticed something. The video is amazing, by the way. Christine Lagarde is a horrible human being, and it's just so nice to see her squirm. But I can't remember. There's something at the end there that I noted.
Oh,
I forgot.
where she says, "I want to practice what I preach," or how?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I thought that's a very interesting answer because do you own any crypto? No. Why? Because I think it's a bad investment. I think it's going to go to zero. It's like, no, the reason that she says is I don't own crypto because I'm publicly advocating against crypto. So it would be hypocritical. So that is the essence of her argument, not because of the reasons why you say crypto is bad. To be fair, props to her for if she is honest, which she's not, but if she were honest, and if she does decide to go down with the fiat ship and never ever get into Bitcoin and end on the streets begging for money for her, well, she won't because her son has Bitcoin and presumably the son will take care of it. But if she didn't have a son that owned Bitcoin, I would expect those central bankers to follow the same route, which is to go down with the ship and drown. So props to them if they do, but we all know that that's not going to happen. They're going to be in Switzerland, living the life, fending off the hordes of normies for the rest of their lives.
That you got that exactly right. Anyways, Phil, closing thoughts, my friend.
Wow. You know what? I really did not get to dive into the second half of that video because I was so triggered.
I saved it because I knew Francis was coming.
I was so triggered by the first half. I never even saw that second half. Anyways,
it was so hard for me not to play the whole thing yesterday, but I knew Francis was coming. I was like, this is too good. This is too good.
You know, I did the same thing. I didn't watch the end of the video on Twitter. I was cringing so hard that I closed it before the sun comments. I'm really happy I got to see her squirm a little because she's a horrible person.
I think we all did. I think we all started watching that. We're like, fuck this shit.
Dude, when she answered the thing about like, do you sleep? I feel like there was like a little glimmer, like little thing in her eye, like, do they know I'm a vampire? Of course I sleep. What are you talking about? I don't drink children's blood.
For a second there, she had to figure out if she was a human or not. Like, are they asking me to play the role? But look, in terms of the points I wanted to make, look, just quite simply, that particular speech is very interesting when she makes the point about there's no crypto on the ECB balance sheet. And it's a very stern statement, and it's meant to convey... Everybody's muted.
She wasn't asked that question.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't asked that question. But she made the statement that there is no... Like, that was her. She was reacting to what she was thinking about it. So it was very important for her to make that statement and be very clear that she's looking out, right? They're looking out for your best interests. So a convicted felon that's in charge of, as Francis alluded to, magic money that is created out of thin air. We've done a whole thing about SDRs and how they're a whole other layer of fiat that is imploding. Okay, they've lent out more money than they ever have in history. Anyways, you know what? The IMF is shitting in their pants. Christine is shitting in her pants. These people have
totally shitting in their pants. Totally shitting. That's what I was gonna say. That's the vibe I get is shitting in their pants energy. I got to see Janet Yellen do a speech against Bitcoin in person in Montreal. Complete coincidence. She just fucking trashed Bitcoin on stage. I recorded it and put it on YouTube. And Janet Yellen was spewing the worst and stupid FUD one after the other like a shitcoiner. And Lagarde does not really do that. She's almost capitulated in her mind. And I think because Janet Yellen was just reading off a prompt and Lagarde is like thinking about the answers because she's actually considering this. So the ECB chief is considering the threat of Bitcoin very seriously. Yeah. And when she says like, we don't own any crypto at the ECB, just to be really clear, I want there to be no ambiguity. So there is a potential for ambiguity. Yeah. There is a potential for an entity like the ECB to have it. It's not so far out of the realm of possibilities that we don't even need to put a disclaimer on it because you don't put disclaimers on every single thing that can't happen, right? So it's like, all right, so now possibility of a central bank owning Bitcoin is now potentially within the frame of possible things. So we need to address that. She hasn't realized yet that she's manifesting a lot of things in reality with her language, you know, and people are. And I'm like, I just go, Christine, continue doing your thing because people are watching this and they may not understand IMF and ISO and SDRs, but they can read a face, that's for sure. Like regular people can read a face. And it's like, when are we going to get the economy back to normal where we stop printing money and buying our rich friends' stocks? It will happen.
It will happen.
The rapture is coming. I will not disclose how. It's like, whoa. You know, okay.
It is so freaking crazy. I can't believe. I mean, it was always going to end this way. But hey, you know what? The central banks definitely deserve it.